Hold on, guys. I got to rearrange my setup here. Okay. Good morning. So it's been a while since I'm going to push you back a little. It's been a while since we have gone live with my amazing board. And this means that we have tons of drawings just like this. And I'm going to go over actually how to really start your wellness business, because I'm hearing and I'm getting questions and I'm talking to a ton of wellness professionals that are either one, needing to take their business online. Maybe they have a brick and mortar and they've realized, okay, now I need to move to an e-learning space because I realize the potential of helping more people. Or you might be a brand new coach and you're hearing all these different strategies. You're bombarded with, the 10 different compartments that we all have to think about when it comes to building our business. Or maybe you are in a situation where you've been in paralysis for years and you don't know where to start, and you've made a decision that you're actually going to get your business started now. So either one of those, I'm going to address them as best as I can. And for this training, what we are talking about is what are these simple steps, the different compartments that I was talking about that make up a very profitable and sustainable business. So if you have any questions, drop them below, because I will, of course, always take those questions and turn them into lives. Let's get started. So step one, a lot of people say, what's essential? I'm going to just say, for me, I 100% believe in a website. You might, of course, have people telling you websites are not important. You can do this with ClickFunnels. You can do this with lead pages. You could do this with Funnel Gorgeous. I'm going to just tell you, in my experience of working with thousands of clients, either in groups or one-on-one, I have realized that people are, of course, not only more impressed, but when you have a website, people can actually go to your home and check out what you do. They can read about you on your About Me page. They know what you offer on your Work With Me page. And so it's much easier to, in my opinion, convert people from that. Furthermore, I really believe one of the biggest struggles when we're building in the online community is we have all these different moving parts such as an opt-in freebie to build your list. You may even have a podcast. You may even have videos that you've been doing as even lives on Facebook. How nice would it be to download that live, upload that to YouTube, have that video even on your website, either hey, watch this 15-minute class so I can show you what it would be like to work with me. Here's the pillars of my business. Pillar 1, that's a video. Pillar 2, that's another video. Pillar 3, that's another video. And when I say pillars, these are your teaching pillars. You have your niche. My niche is weight loss, but my teaching pillars are blood sugar, mindset, and fitness. Those pillars are really what set you apart from another coach, professional, chiropractor, nurse practitioner, acupuncturist. Each one of you have these very distinct pillars that you really believe are essential for your client who has weight issues. She or he has to do, as I said, those 3 steps, because this is where you really believe your ideal client is going to be able to change their life. And what sets you apart from everyone is that you have this different approach. In your approach of blood sugar, mindset, and fitness, that's a big part of your client journey. you feel that these 3 areas really showcase how the steps that you know this person has to take. Wouldn't it be much nicer to have it on a website? Because all these blogs and these videos and maybe audios that you've made, it's much easier to be able to say to somebody in the beginning of a live, at the end of a podcast, or the beginning of a podcast where you are actually being interviewed, or maybe even on a story. I was looking at my phone, a story on Facebook, a story on Instagram. Isn't it nicer to, instead of feeling like you're having freebies everywhere, that you can have on your website one page that says, access these free tools, or access this, mini course. That mini course can be a challenge. When I say, how can it be a challenge, is that you can go to yourhealthcoachbiz.com. If you wanted to, let's say mindset, if one of your core pillars, of course, is mindset, but you really niche down on this aspect of how meditation, because that's still in the mindset pillar, meditation is going to help to balance your blood sugar, because cortisol levels are going to lower. We're going to get the body out of fight and flight. And that's a huge thing you believe. Then why not have a 5-day meditation? You don't even have to call it a challenge. Rename it and say 5-day meditation course. You have 5 opportunities, because you have 5 days with 5 support emails that will give you. That means you have an email every day that you can send to your ideal client who's trying to figure out why you're different. That's a video a day to connect with them. Wouldn't it be better to have that as housed on your website, even if you are using landing pages from ClickFunnels, even if you're using landing pages from Lead Pages, or you're using the landing pages from MailerLite, ConvertKit, MailChimp? Guess what? It doesn't matter. I think that's the cool thing that I'm trying to say to you when you're beginning is, don't get stuck in the platforms. Let's first think about the easiest way for you as the coach to say, hey, if you really love this live, hop on over to my site, because I have a blog that's all about how I do meditation different. And at the bottom of that blog, there's an opt-in to your 5-day mini course on meditation, which really showcases an approach that you specifically have to wait. Okay, deep breaths. Want to make sure everyone understands that. What I'm trying to say is, instead of saying, oh, I've got this freebie over here, and I've got this freebie, in this other ClickFunnels, and I've got this freebie on this other landing page, I want to say, let's simplify it. You can use funnels. You can use different lead pages. But what I want you to do is start with a healthy foundation so you're not all over the place. So one compartment is, of course, your website. Before we get to opt-in freebies, I want to talk about another thing that's really important: copy. I didn't know what this word was when I first graduated from Institute for Integrative Nutrition. The copy on your site are the exact, let me just get water, are the exact verbiage that your ideal client needs to hear from you, to be able to say, oh, wow, this person specializes in weight. Okay, and so it asks them like key questions like, have you tried every diet out there? Are you sick and tired of counting points? Do you feel deprived every time that you go on vacation? Do you feel that no matter how many diets that you have been on, that you find yourself still sabotaging yourself because you don't think you're worth it? These are the kind of questions that pull your client in. When you are speaking to somebody, not only in their conscious, but their subconscious, you're hitting the emotional aspect, the psychology part of your ideal client. That's what actually pulls that person in and makes them start to think, wow, how many times do I sabotage myself? oh my God, I said, in Christmas that I wouldn't eat gluten because my doctor said it wasn't good for me, but man, I just went and ate gluten. And then I felt so bad about myself that I found myself like waking up in the middle of the night and shoving like a piece of cake in my mouth because, I always say no. I'm so sick of saying no. It reminds me of when I was younger, watching my mom say no to everything because she was perfect. I'm not like her. It's just an example of how the mind works. And it's not an example of any one person. I would say it's actually just the human condition. It's how we make change. We don't just make change because I say, here's this weight loss freebie. Come to my group. It's amazing. People make change and they want to actually roll with you. They want to hire you. They want to be around you because you're helping them to wake up. You're helping them to see, wow, I thought that was really resolved. I didn't think I was sabotaging myself. But when you start talking about it, she or he has this wake up moment. I'm still doing that. And it may not happen instantly, which is why I always say to you guys, give yourself a little more time to explain to your ideal client, like these problems that he or she is having. Before you quit on your dream and your purpose, actually be willing to start to look at these basic compartments. Does the copy on my site really reflect what I am, what I am trying to say and express? And the thing is, we do have done for you copy. That means that it's still may need for you to make some additions, some changes, but it gives you an amazing, it's more than just a template. Template is a fill in the blank. It gives you structure. So if you are working with a copywriter, instead of them charging you $2,000 to $3,000 for whole website copy, you're going to buy this for $495. You're going to use our savings code, and then you're going to have a starting place because maybe you are not as clear yet on exactly where you want to plant your business. And when I say that, it means that, sometimes in the beginning, we think our niche is going to be exactly this one thing, but we start to test the market. We start to test with opt-in freebies. We start to test with blogs. And I don't mean just a blog hoping that somebody's going to come to your website. You take that one blog from any of our packages, our blog package, our programs, and you take that one blog and you either make that a social media post. You can break the blog into a few social media posts. So you're not sitting there saying, what captions do I need to have? You have a starting place that gives you time, of course, more time to actually narrow in on what do I need to actually say to my ideal client? Where is he or she struggling? What do they really want? Well, I know they want weight loss, but I'm going to test with this one blog and do this as a social media post. I'm going to take that one blog and also I'm going to do a live on it. And I'm going to start testing topics to see where my client engages the most. That is the key to understanding your ideal client in real time. The second, of course, to make sure that the copy on your site reflects your client's verbiage, not yours as the coach, but your client's is, of course, you want to get 5 to 10 people on the phone and ask them very specific questions. If they're not willing to get on the phone, direct message, a personal message, a quiz. Many of our workshops, many of our programs come with quizzes. You can even say, hey, I need this type of person. I'm looking for, these 20 people who fit kind of these goals or these problems. And you can even say, like, have you been struggling with looking for 20 people to fill out this quiz? And in exchange, you get this free program. That's market research. That's kind of like beta testing. Even the program, you can get somebody on the phone and say, here, I'm going to give you this. In exchange, I really need to take 30 minutes of your time to go through this quiz and to ask you some questions and then to follow up with you in 14 days after you've completed my program. This is exactly what we were all taught when we left school. We just forgot about it when we got introduced to all these compartments of our business that feel overwhelming. So the cool thing is you have this copy, which you're going to update. Maybe nobody tells you this, but I know from my coaching years, I think, no joke, in the first year, I updated the verbiage, the questions on my website, maybe 65 times over. My crappy website that our school had given, not like the ones that you guys have now. And so just understand that that is really what happens when you coach. Things don't just come out perfect. That's what a lot of us are told. And so we compare ourselves to somebody else thinking that everyone has this perfect copy right away, but they actually don't. So here's step one, step two. Now we go into step number 3. This is your offers. It's this simple. This is going to be free or paid. Let me explain that really clearly, because I have a lot of coaches, wellness professionals who are thriving in their one-on-one practice, thriving in their brick and mortar, thriving in, let's just say thriving, but they're really confused about the online market. Doesn't mean that you are taking your entire practice online. This means that you are doing your one-on-one in a more online setting, which is e-learning, doing one-on-one online. It means that you are finding clients past your local backyard. And so when we use the power of the internet, which is extremely exciting, that means this, that you are expanding the possibility of finding new clients outside of your local marketplace. Because another question that came in was, Rach, I've exhausted my local marketplace and I'm stuck. I don't know how to find more clients. And no, people just don't fall on your website. This is where it comes in on your offers. You might be extremely clear on what you offer in your work with me. If not, we're going to show you in this next part. To expand and to really get visible when somebody searches for that problem, not only are your paid offers the solution, but your freebies, your workshops, your challenges, your free group, your webinars, doesn't matter whether they are on demand or you're doing a webinar in a group or you're doing a webinar with a few people on a Zoom. These are all list building solutions. Your list building offers are what? A blog or freebies or workshops. They're all testing out the engagement. And that's why I had 25 opt-in freebies. I know it sounds crazy, but I built my list to 7,000 organically. I did that because I constantly tested for my niche, gut, I knew the glaring pain points because I had gone through it, but I didn't know where was that, what was the verbiage, or what was the key message, or what was their interest for that person who said, well, no, I know I've got issues, but this is really my pain. And what I discovered by testing out detox freebies and workshops on, toxins and talking about the lymphatic system and weight and talking about gut health, bacteria and bloating and talking about all these different subjects, which many of you have the freebie that's on rachelafeldman.com, which is 7 ways, I think it's to end bloating. That was my signature freebie because I realized that my ideal client, despite all these other issues, they needed to hear this word weight loss. And never did I think if anything, I've ever been underweight. But in testing, I started to see that I thought people's biggest pain point would be, of course, all their gut issues. But for this person, this ideal client avatar that had gut issues and felt tired, and she or he was really upset about this weight and this bloat. It made them feel lack of confidence, etc. My other clients who were more like my parasite and candida and mystery illness, I mean, that was a very clear talk on those specific topics: candida, parasitic infections, heavy metals, toxins. See how all of a sudden in us talking about even how do we test our market, it's actually limitless. And that's why when you're thinking about your offers on your work with me, it's really great to say, okay, I know my offers are actually going to work as long as they are what my ideal client's searching for. And my freebies and my workshops are me being able to test different messages, different topics, so I can really hone in on where people are engaging the most. So what do you need? Website, you need copy, you need your offers, and of course, in one compartment, this is your list building, meaning you need to have an email list, MailerLite, ConvertKit, MailChimp, I would say Flowdesk are some of the ones that we see as the most common for newbies. Then, of course, maybe you need sales page and delivery. I'm hearing this a lot. How do I deliver? I would say the easiest that I hear from people is Teachable. But I would say for most of our coaches who are also doing one-on-one, Practice Better is a really great one. And then, of course, you need content, because content is king. And of course, knowing how your content is being used for you to get that market research, understand and create visibility, massive visibility, where you are talking about a lot of topics as long as they relate to your niche and those pillars. And so as long as you're relating it back to weight loss, you could talk about collagen, you could talk about anti-aging, you could talk about drinks for detox, you could talk about metabolism boosting foods, you could talk about gut health, you could talk about the microbiome, you could talk about flushing fat, you could talk about endocrine disruptors, dirty dozen, how do you shop cheap at Costco, how do you join a local CSA, how do you save money on your organic food? How do you cook in less than 15 minutes? How do you handle stress? What are the key supplements to make sure that we do have good functioning hormones? How do we actually know if our thyroid isn't working well? Doesn't mean you're a specialist in any of those topics. That tends to be how the human brain thinks. And they also Google. So the cool thing is when you have consistency on your Facebook business page, Google yourself. Google for yourself. Go into an incognito window. This means that you're not going to have cookies, which is how when you come to a page, they know you went to that page and they're going to show you other pages similar. But when you go in an incognito window, Google how to lose weight when no diet is working. See what comes up first. Does a Facebook business page come up first? Does LinkedIn? Google your name. What comes up first for you? Then you're going to sit there and say, okay, it would be great for me to host a workshop every week, either on my Facebook business page, doing a live, or have a group. I'm going to create some consistency so that as a new coach, I don't feel overwhelmed. If you know that every Friday you're doing that, and you know every Tuesday you're sending a newsletter to your list, what can you talk about in the newsletter? The same thing that you're talking about in that workshop that week. So don't overcomplicate it. On another day, you're going to blog. It's that blog that we talked about. You can even, of course, for those of you who are a little more advanced and understand, taking that live and downloading it, you can even put it onto YouTube and bring that video, put it on the top of a blog. Somebody reads and you're like, hey, watch this video first. Read more below. Click here to get the 5-day meditation challenge. Are we all getting this? This is the bigger picture, but we're going to do this. I'm going to show you this, created this a long time ago. And I'm going to show you how freebies work when you're seeing them in a visual. This is lead magnet, lead magnet, lead, lead, lead. This lead magnet is on weight loss and sugar. This lead magnet is that mini free course. Because how cool it is when you come in and you can give somebody digestible information in the way that they process, in the way that all different kinds of people process. How many of you love a video? And how many of you love a download? The cool thing is when you take something like a challenge, you don't need to do a challenge live. You can, but you can also take those 5 days of information and give them 5-minute little videos that say, this is how I meditate when I actually don't have time. Or this is how you do, nostril breathing. Or bring that person into your home. Like, hey, this is my ritual when I meditate because I struggled with weight for the longest time. I had blood sugar imbalance, and I found that that was really affecting my ability to lose weight or to cut fat, or that was hindering my weight loss efforts, and I didn't even know. You are constantly just bringing it back to the very thing that you want to be known for as an expert, and these different teaching pillars just allow you to what? Polarize down, get even more specific. So here's a little mini course. You might have a lead magnet that is a quiz. Who doesn't love to take a quiz? You might have a lead magnet as a bundle of recipes, or like, hey, here's my 7-day, here's my 7-day low carb. Here's my 7-day clean eating. Here's my 7-day weight loss. Here's my, anti-aging bundle. Here's my blood sugar. Of course, you want your core high converting freebies to really showcase what you want to be known for in your signature process. But remember, there are testing freebies, and then there are the ones that you're like, this is on the front of my website. I want somebody to come to my website. I want them to see that top banner, and right under it's like, click to grab this course, or click to grab this 5-day hormone detox, or click to grab this blood sugar checklist, or click to grab this, lab test, or click to grab 25 recipes that will boost your metabolism. Click, 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 because you want them to come and be like, woo, see that, even if they're scrolling down, question, question, question. They're like, oh, wow, that's me. Because that's when they start to have that moment. And so you will often see on the top of a website that you have something that says, click here. Watch your own behaviors as you're even at other people's websites. You may read down, but that person's going to be like, oh, wow, I just saw this meditation challenge. And this coach that I'm looking at is talking to me about like the mindset of weight loss. And I didn't realize that my mindset was off. Or, wow, this coach is talking to me about emotional eating. Wow, this coach is talking to me about hormones. This coach is talking to me about gut. This coach is talking to me about clean eating for weight loss, clean eating for better energy. They're going to go back up and they're going to download, but that same download at the top can also be the download at the bottom. Like, hey, maybe you missed seeing that you can grab instantly this. That's what they're grabbing. That's what they're going into. And then they're probably going to go through your site and just binge consume to see if you're the right fit. That's why all your lead magnets, everything can lead to Rome. One big box. For those of you who are doing one-on-one, you're interested in more discovery calls, correct? You want more people coming in, so you have more discovery calls and you're not sitting there waiting on Instagram, hoping that somebody clicks on your link in the profile, or that you're not sitting there waiting saying, wow, nobody watches my views on my Facebook business page. Now we're saying, no problem, I'm gonna have consistency everywhere without it feeling overwhelming, because these freebies are going to be working for me. And if I have 3 main freebies on a free tool page that really solve the problem for my client, at the end of live, you can be like, hey guys, maybe you didn't know that over on my site, I have, what's a freebie that we have? 10 low sugar. I think we have like the low sugar recipes, or in your programs, each one of you have freebies that are specific to that program. So you can go into your program Dropbox. And if you don't have a program, feel free to reach out to us at yourhealthcoachbiz.com so we can see which freebies in that program bundle fit the best to lead people, of course, to your offers. For today, we're just going to talk about a work with me page. And then, of course, we're going to come back to this. But you see what we all need: free offer website, homepage, and blog, signature freebies, signature workshops. Signature means that these match your paid offers. They are a mini win, a mini solution, a mini step leading your ideal client through the journey. Opt into this 5-day, we're just going to call it the 5-day meditation challenge. Those emails that you get, you are going to have to personalize them a little. Or, as I said, you put a video there and you let people know, what was life like? What happened? What do you do? What were some of the, on day 2, what were some of the things that you really struggled with? All you have to do is add in about 3 sentences before, really make it personal. The 3rd email, you're like, hey, if you don't have clients, all the new coaches, guess what? You've been coaching for free forever. Your family, your friends, start asking people, hey, you know that I helped you with your weight loss. Can you give me a testimonial? Even if you have to change that person's name, not everyone wants their name public. Just remember that. It's not about you. It's about some people are just, don't want their information to be everywhere. But you can ask your friends, family, or January. Realistically, you can do this at any time of the year. Do what I just told a coach to do the other day. Give that program. He's a doctor in Dubai, and he bought our Restore Your Gut Health. And he was like, do you have any testimonials? I said, no, I don't have them. A lot of the sales pages have them. But this is my big free advice for the day. Reach out to 10 people who you know would never be your client, or maybe even a past client that they've not done a program with you, and get a testimonial. So he said, oh my God, that's such a good idea. I said, yeah, you're beta testing this program. You're getting confidence for you as the coach also. And for most of us, that's the biggest key ingredient to making money, is that we have to get the confidence. You have to get the confidence to do the workshop, even if you're saying, oh, well, Rach can do it because she just can so easily do this. No, that's not true. I can do it because I made a decision. I'm going to do it scared. I'm going to do it even if I don't know where to start, because I have to start testing my ideal client. I'm going to figure out how to do a workshop. And guess what? I used every free tool. So all I did was take my phone and a tripod when live started happening, when we could start doing lives, and I did a workshop that way. Before, guess what, guys? We didn't even have lives. We didn't even have Zoom where you could see somebody's face. We had teleconference. So when I tell you anything's possible, it's actually even more exciting, the capabilities that you have now. So think, yes, I am going to decide in the next 72 hours, like what workshop I need to do this week. If, of course, you're leading people in your one-on-one offer, a 2 or 3 tier, let's see if we can just bring this back. Bring this back. Trying this all natural, good smelling stuff. I mean, I always use that kind of stuff, but it's kind of, I like testing different products. I'm a product tester person. If you go to my website, rachaelefeldman.com, there's a start here page. If you go even to yourhealthcoachbiz.com, if you click on the pop-up, that's going to take you to a page where I actually break down how to build a 1 to 2 tier work with me. For those of you who are new, you might say, what the heck does that mean, Rachel? It means your client journey. This is 1. This is the second step. This is the hero journey. For me, well, actually, let's do this weight loss. So step 1, weight loss on your work with me, and we'll add in, time, we'll add in days and times and stuff like that, because everyone's a little different in how they structure their work with me. I'm going to add in here, if it's weight, if it's blood sugar, mine is going to be a 30-day. Because I feel blood sugar mastery. I feel that my ideal client, mine, not what everyone tells me, the person that I'm attracting, this one ideal client that's really in the struggle, what does she want? She wants to lose weight. I know it's a mindset. I know it's a meditation, but like she wants quick results, but I'm not going to tell her, oh yeah, we can just get this accomplished in maybe 7 days. I want her to know that if we work together on a work with me, that I can definitely say, the promise to you is this. In 30 days, we will be able to find your carb tolerance. I know that we will address her weight and her sugar. Another could be, of course, keto. Doesn't mean you have to be a keto coach. I have a lot of women who have taken that program, a lot of men who have taken that program, and they just say high protein, low carb, or they say like, we'll make a fancy name for it, but it really is kind of a reset. It's just whether you're a big keto person or not, or you're an intermittent fasting, each one of you have a different. This could be keto because blood sugar is one of your core pillars. So you might have different views on how for each type of client based on their core problems, which program is the best. Does that make sense to everyone? Meaning this could be ideal client avatar 1, and this could be an ideal client avatar 2. What does that mean? Just nail it down so you guys all have success this month and you buy the right programs from us and the right stuff. Ideal client 1, she or he would go into a binge eating, and it would bring up like their own maybe trauma. That's just the word I use, trauma, or like past memories of being on a restrictive diet. Maybe they've experienced, this is why knowing your ideal client avatar is so important. Maybe they were on Atkins at one time. Maybe they worked with somebody that took them really restrictive, and it just really like imprinted in their mind this fear about losing weight. This fear that losing weight is going to have to be restrictive. Well, I'm not going to put this person on keto. Maybe if I'm only a keto coach, but I look at weight loss and like really helping that person with what their wants and their personality. Also, what's going to give them the biggest win. So keto would be for the second person who comes to me and they're like, oh my God, I work out all the time. Like I have been hearing about this ketogenic, my best girlfriend, she did it and it was amazing. My husband also wants to do this with me. And oh my God, I was listening to this podcast the other day and they were talking about intermittent fasting. I just bought this book from Dave Asprey. That's a completely different personality person. Same goals, same thing. And both of them have different mindset needs. Maybe avatar 2 is a little more like me, needs that work and slowing down. But avatar 2 needs hit me with the solution first, because she's a little more A-type driven. She's a little more like, oh my God. And she also wants to do this with her husband. And so knowing that relationship, or she wants to do this with her friend, or maybe she's just, again, doing this for herself, but that's her personality, knowing that we will be able to get to the mindset in step 2, I'm going to flip it around. Does that make sense to everyone? So it's just more even understanding that we are dealing with human beings. We're not just selling products that fit this one type of person. We're selling an experience and a transformation. And when we're really clear on this part, guess what? You will convert on a discovery call. You will close it down on a webinar. Your workshop will convert because you're so clear on this person, because you've met her before. You've met him before. You guys know. Clearly, I could talk about this forever. This is my jam. And this is why I was really great and still great at conversions, because I understand this isn't about just what I'm saying. I don't just shove things down people's mouths to be like, but you have to start keto. But you have to do this. I want to know what kind of person are they? What really drives them? What really makes them say, I'm going to go all in on this? Or what fears hold them back? What pain have they been through? What have they done before? These are all the open-ended questions that you want to be asking when you're doing market research, or really slow down your own thought process and say, who are the people who come to me? Not what I think my business is going to be like, but who are the types of people that I really attract in my life, my friendships, people ask me for help. What do they always ask me? Many of you have been doing market research your whole life. You're just not looking at your conversations like that. A conversation is market research. Okay, my step 2. This is going to be when I'm really, of course, diving in. If my process is about blood sugar, weight, this is more where I'm diving into this piece of probably weight. And that might be something like a 60-day weight loss. This could also be a mindset program, like our 3-month mindset makeover. Maybe there's a big part of you that actually brings in this next step, which is reset your life in 21 days. And you're going real mindset versus another coach who may approach weight loss as, well, the blood sugar is also part of the hormones. So this could also even be one of our women's wellness hormone modules. And then that step 3, that's the ultimate transformation. So whether you're packaging this in steps, because guess what? Somebody for 30 days, this could be actually 3 months. And let's make this 6 months. That person in 30, I guarantee if they need more support, they will come to that next step with you. And that next step can be different because you're like, oh my God, you graduated. You did it. I'm so freaking proud. Now let's dive here. Now let's dive into the mindset. Maybe this person who is more keto, maybe that's actually helping them in that next stage to transition to finding their unique carb balance. So it's interesting. Stay with me. These could actually be flip-flopped. For the keto person, this avatar 2, that next step is blood sugar mastery. Is everyone seeing how this is so magical? Your ability to sit there and be like, wow, how can I use the content so that I can sit more and do this? This is where you make money. You save time and money with our programs, but they will work, but this is the part that I need you to start thinking about. It doesn't take a lot. It just takes you coming out of, oh my God, what platform is it? Should I do this? You gotta push those compartments to the side, because what we have to have is a really clear work with me page, really clear freebies, those signature closing ones. All the other freebies and the opportunities and giveaways, and those are fun list building exercises. And I do like a lot of freebies. Maybe you're a person that your way of list building is you're going to do a workshop a week and you're going to lead them to your group. And in your group, you've got the unit section built out on steps. And in that unit section, that's where you're having people opt into your freebies in your group. Some of you might have a strategy where you are like me. I wanted lots of visibility because then people were coming to me for summits. Can you be on our summit about detox? Can you be on our summit about mindset? Can you be on our summit about gut? Those opportunities came to me. The magazines and people interviewing me and podcast opportunities, those came because that was my strategy of being visible in a lot of places like YouTube. And my business page, even if nobody was liking, I made sure it was consistent, because let me just say this again. When your ideal client or you are Googling, what comes up first? You Google, boom, Facebook business page. If you Google somebody's name, or if you're Googling an issue, I thought, why don't I just do videos constantly on different issues? And the truth is, so you understand, compare yourself to what it really takes for like a coach who actually had to, get over that fear of showing up. I put myself on a video a day challenge because I knew that this was going to be the thing that I had to work on. How to talk, how to present myself. And of course, I did join groups, locally, for any of you that are maybe struggling, list building, or maybe you're even struggling in Facebook ads, like expand your reach. So this is my 3 months. Depending on, of course, how you envision this business, this could be more like the 6-month retune for your hormones. Maybe step 3 is that they graduate to a monthly reoccurring membership. That could be the hormone membership. That could be, or a clean eating membership. That could even be, just more of a group kind of mastermind. Or if you're working one-on-one like myself, this is like your ultimate journey. This could be the 6-month retune. This could be if we're thinking blood sugar, weight. This could be, you could even look at this as like 3-month eat with intention, intuitive eating. Because your signature business is a reflection of how you feel. It's what you see broken in the world. It's the steps that somebody has to take in order to achieve like this ultimate transformation. And for some of you, you might have a few different types of people, avatars. They all have the same core problems. You know your niche, your teaching pillars, what you're talking about, but you might attract different avatars based on even the example that we did with 2. Most of us have about like 1 to 3 different types of people. And so you might have people that really like to work in a one-on-one capacity. You might have only 2 ways of working with you one-on-one, and then people work with you like a 10-person intensive mastermind, which is like, $1,000 a month. It might be like $500 a month. It might be $400 a month. It might be $300 a month, but that you want to have 10 people join this mastermind. And so maybe that's like your 3rd step offer. Or your 3rd step offer, of course, can be a longer intensive. Let me just pull this back up. It can be a longer intensive of step 2. What does that mean before we close this out? That means that you can use our programs and extend them. It's not uncommon that somebody is at step 2 and they take a step back life happens, or something happens in their life, which is a trigger, and all of a sudden they binge eat for like 2 weeks. And you're just sitting there in your sessions, not even really going over the program, but you're talking really, like, it's kind of like shifted into like positive affirmations and I am statements and habits. And because this person is like really grieving, or maybe you're working with somebody and all of a sudden they get a divorce, or there's a death in the family, or there's a financial loss, or there's uncertainty. People are not programs, people are not books. That's why the system fails. I mean, I'm working with an acupuncturist, and she even said yesterday, she said, I do functional lab testing different because most people go in for a 15-minute consult, and they get a battery of tests, and they go home and they spend $2,000, and then they meet with that person again for 15 minutes. She's like, I'm different because I work on that emotional aspect. I do NET, I do NLP, I do hypnosis, I do, she has a bunch of modalities, because that is such the mindset part, the high performance mindset part, the trauma release, the PTSD, the shame, the guilt coming. That's such a huge part of her business. So it's not uncommon that in step 3, you're going back and you're going back even to the programs here, or sometimes you're going back to the one, or sometimes you're like some of the coaches who come to us and they're like, oh my God, I would have never thought, I have a weight loss business. I would have never thought that I have all these people coming to me with gut. And so all of a sudden they're having like a different opportunity, because they're seeing this consistent inflow of people that are like, oh my God, I'm so stressed. Or this step 3 is like the stress course. It's like, okay, so we're here now. Let's learn how to handle stress. Let's learn like how we can embrace this and not have it affect our life where we stop taking care of ourselves. We start over drinking, overeating, in paralysis, shaming our body, over exercising, under exercising, overeating, under eating, oversleeping, not sleeping. We are, by the human condition, over under people. And so living in the gray in the human experience is where people are the most stuck. And so sometimes you're going to see a shift just in your business. And that's why some people have these layered approaches in their work with me. So especially if you're working with people one-on-one, you're going to see this, which is why many of you are like, oh my God, I feel like I have 100 niches. Or people are coming to me for all these different things. They're always going to come to you for all these different things. You might specialize in weight, mindset, blood sugar. Blood sugar has what? About, it's so extensive on what you can talk about blood sugar. So somebody might come and their biggest problem is their sex drive. And you're like, wait, I'm talking about blood sugar, but you one day talked about hormones and stress, or you talked about like hormones and libido, and everyone's like, oh my God, that's so me. Because maybe at this time in that person's life, they have a lot of stress and that's their biggest pain point. So that's why for me, the way that I approached it when I built Rachel's Wellness is I was like, let me really think of what people consistently ask me. Let me, of course, like define my niche so I'm not all over the place. Let's define these 3 teaching pillars so I can stay consistent. But let me also know that my job as a coach is to constantly, I'm not saying look at the news and get like overwhelmed. I'm saying look at the news for these possible TV shows, which your ideal client is getting their information fed. Look at magazines that you feel most. I get about 10 magazines sent to my home. What are the topics in here? Keto cravings. It doesn't matter. You don't have to do keto. And if you don't do keto, guess what? You can be like, hey, I was seeing this magazine. How many people find that keto makes them binge. The thought of being, start understanding how to use our content to fill in the places that you actually want to talk about, or to go against some common themes in the industry. Go to mindbodygreen.com. Go to Thrive Journal. Go and see what Dr. Oz is talking about. Go and see what Oprah's talking about. Get to know like where your ideal client is fed information, and you'll never be at a loss for content. Molly Clark I worked with, and she's like a huge personality kind of coach. And of course, I'm going to tag her on this after. She specialized in like the mindset part. And she realized a lot of people who were coming to her were weight. And then she had this epiphany literally this week as she like tagged me in our free group. And she's like, I said one thing about hormones, and my whole audience was like, oh my God, that's what we need. Because right now it is weight, it is mindset, but that's their biggest pain point. It doesn't mean that she's a hormone coach. She's going to say what she stands for. She's really clear on what she offers in the transformation. But where we often miss as coaches is not testing our audience with these kind of questions. Like, are you guys struggling with your hormones? Are you struggling with sleep? Are you struggling with stress? And then being able to see what they're struggling with, and then of course deliver the content that of course feeds them the exact mini solution, so that the goal is to of course upsell them to her one-on-one. Or if you're a new coach, you might be in a testing phase for like a year, and nobody talks about that. Of course you're going to be in a testing phase. No one comes out of school know exactly the kind of people they're going to attract. So we're in a testing phase for about 1 to 1.5 years. And the more that we test, like with a workshop, like, hey, I'm going to talk about stress and hormones, or I'm going to talk about blood sugar and hormones. You start to see what are these words that people really attach to. Is it hormones because they don't really understand blood sugar yet, and they're looking for you to show them a solution? That's it in a nutshell. I know that was a little lengthy as usual, but there is no way that in 6 to 8 minutes, I can explain like a bigger picture. What I'm going to be doing next week is chunking down each of this into little like mini videos or mini lives, but I can't even promise you that's going to be 10 minutes. I am working on that. But I talk so much because I need you to understand how this is really an ecosystem, how it all works together. And when you start to see that, what I can promise is that you're going to start letting go of like, what platform do I need to deliver on? How am I going to deliver my programs? And I get this constantly. Should I deliver my programs in Facebook once? Because I couldn't even figure out how to send the automated welcome email. Do it scared. Doesn't have to be perfect. That perfection will lead you either to spend a lot of money that maybe you don't have, and that stresses you out and then doesn't allow you to show up in your greatest like glory, or you're going to constantly be dependent on somebody. And that's a really tough thing as a new coach too, because you're already putting money out. So let's start with here today. We've been talking about this theme of like, do it imperfect, start your launch, understand your backstory. What I would love is if you guys personal message me, DM, drop, questions in at Your Health Coach Biz, send them in a contact form on Rachel A. Feldman. Just send them somewhere of the places that you're really stuck. So this is a big overview of understanding, in my opinion, what it really takes from me, who did one-on-one, did groups as a joint venture partnership locally, did groups online, worked with people at a higher ticket, as I elevated my services and got really clear. This is my experience of what I feel lessens the overwhelm when we have massive clarity on the client journey, our process. And guess what? It's going to change. It's going to change, but you only can change and refine when you've actually shown up. Sitting in analysis can only get you so far because you're not even going to really be able to test. So let me end this with that. Please, guys, if you haven't checked out our podcast yet, there's so many amazing coaches on there, service providers. Go over and check that out. If you still feel, stuck on either what to offer, please, send us a message from at yourhealthcoachbiz.com. Happy to answer. And the third is, if you feel like you're just at that confused, panic stage, come into our free group. Ask these kind of questions so I can, answer them to the best of my ability. With that being said, peace out. We are going to take deep breaths, take deep breaths, take deep breaths. And that's it. I believe in you guys, and I think you do too. You just got to lessen the overwhelm so you can really process and use your heart, use your brain, and show up. So guys, say la vie, hasta luego, shalom, konnichiwa. And I'm going to peace out. Bye guys. Mwah!